Language matters. That's what we've all been taught since childhood and through years and years of schooling. But somehow, when it comes to the issue of Palestine, we forget. Or rather, we don't even realize that the Western lens and language we have unconsciously adopted for decades is contributing to the rapid spread of racist Western narratives globally. How, you may ask? Take an example. Muslim journalists, politicians, news guests, activists, protesters, and even average citizens have been pressured constantly on news and social media to condemn anti-Semitism, while not a single Israeli official is asked to condemn the murder of Palestinians. And yet, no one questions why Muslims are being targeted for anti-Semitism while thousands of Palestinians are being massacred in Gaza, and while media outlets are turning a blind eye to a genocide unfolding before the world's eyes. But that's not it. The apologetic tone many Muslims have adopted in relation to this issue of Palestine is rooted in a much deeper problem: the internalization of the Western superiority complex. The notion that whatever comes out of Western authority, industries, academia, entertainment, news, and media must be superior by default. This pervasive mindset is not just limited to news, but has a far greater reach than many know. Propaganda is not just limited to misinformation and fake news. In fact, the most successful and penetrating form of propaganda is psycholinguistic influence, a psychological play on words and language that subconsciously leads people to make judgments about good and evil, thereby affecting their responses to global events based on what the victim looks like or sounds like. For example, when you hear the word terrorist or extremist, you almost never picture a white man or European woman. Why? Because the rhetoric surrounding terrorism has painted a very distinct picture of what a terrorist looks like, and usually it comes with a beard and yells Allahu Akbar. In fact, the Western rhetoric surrounding terrorism is one of the most heavily used propaganda tools to further Western imperialism and hegemony globally. It is used to initiate wars such as the war in Iraq or Afghanistan, send billions of dollars of our tax money to Israel, and even justify the murder of thousands of innocent Palestinian lives. No questions asked. Today, you see the atrocious consequences of this form of propaganda more clearly than ever. A real-life genocide is taking place before our eyes, and yet the world and all its United Nations have not batted an eyelash. And those who dare to speak out against the genocide are instead commanded to condemn anti-Semitism. The Western obsession with blaming the victim is nothing new. Every time Western-backed war begins, the victims are labeled as subhuman entities whose lives somehow are of less value than the people of the first world. In this way, the public becomes numb to their pain as thousands upon thousands of innocent people are dehumanized, and that much easier to watch being killed and injured as they become refugees in their homeland. And still, we are asked about anti-Semitism. The language of power has infiltrated virtually every aspect of Western society, and this reality shows itself best during times of war. It holds the power to change the consciousness of an entire population and even transform the meanings of commonly used words to feed into a well-funded propaganda machine. While the collective consciousness of a significant portion of people has awakened to this reality in recent weeks, it is still critical that we continue to examine Western imperialist and racist language when speaking about Palestine.